Hey everyone, Alan Bauer here in Bay City, Michigan. And we just had this big snowstorm yesterday. It wasn't really so much a snowstorm as it was as much as a ice storm. So we got about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch of ice. My Marine Corps flagpole got ripped off in this wind. I mean, it was like super high winds out. Um, and then today, I get up to, I see last night too, there was flooding, like people that live on the Calcallan River that goes into the Saginaw Bay, like the river just started rising, and a lot of people had flooded basements, and like out in the thumb of Michigan, kind of east of here, there was a lot of people lost power. So I really can't complain too much, but I mean, today I go out and, I see, looks like a little bit of snow out on the sidewalk. So I said, well, I'll go out and I'll do this. And, take me a few minutes and I'll be back in. Well, 3 hours later, I come back in. And it was, like I said, it's 3/4 of an inch of ice. And then there was all this like ice pellets coming down. So it was like, we got a few inches, which looked like snow, but it was really like compacted ice. So it's like shaving ice. I'm sitting there with the shovel. Luckily, I got a steel blade on the shovel. But I mean, it took like everything I had. Now, we live on a corner lot too. So, of course, we get, you know, 12 times the amount of sidewalk to shovel that everybody else does. So, I mean, I'm pretty wore out. But I finally, it was nice when I came in. Karen had a nice pot of soup made, and I just wanted to relax, have a I got a beverage and sat down and had a little bit to eat, had that soup, and I just chilled out for a while. I mean, I was sore, and then finally I took a hot shower and it felt a lot better after that. Now the other thing I did too, and this is what I really want to talk about in the video. It's actually doing kind things for people. And I'm not telling you this to like toot my own horn or anything like that, but so we got the big corner lot, and then I have a neighbor, and she's disabled. She can't shovel her own sidewalk, and I mean, I was like wore out by the time I got to the end of mine. Now she only has like a little patch to do, but I'm thinking in my head, like, man, do I really want to do this? Should I just go in the house? I'm like, no, I have to. There's nobody else that's going to do this for her. And then I'm thinking, there's kids in the area that walk back and forth down the sidewalk. There's disabled people, people with some mobility challenges, things like that. So it's like, I have to do this. It's like I can see a clean sidewalk all the way down. I'm not going to leave this little patch. But I mean, it was a real pain. It was a pain in the butt, man, to go out there and shovel today. And then the snow plows went by last night, and it was so freezing. And I really appreciate the snowplow drivers because they really earn their pay during this. They go out, they clean all the main roads, and they come by the side streets and stuff last. But so anyway, we're on one little more main street coming down here. So they plowed, but it was so cold last night. It had like these gigantic boulders. So I have gigantic ice boulders blocking my driveway. And a lot of people like want to complain of the plow drivers. I mean, they're just doing their job. I mean, there's no way they can, get out and shovel everybody's driveway or something. I mean, that's on you. I'm just thankful that they shovel the road. But so I'm thinking, like, man, how do I get this? I can't get it off with the shovel. I mean, it is like frozen solid. Karen's got to go to work tomorrow, and so I go out in the shed and I get my ice pick, or pickaxe. I mean, this gigantic pickaxe. So I start whacking at these things, busting them up into smaller ice particles, and I had this heavy duty steel rake. It's just got the little things on it, and like raked all those out of the driveway, finished shoveling. So anyway, it was pretty cool, doing the neighbor's yard. And even though it was a pain, she came out later. I was hanging my flag back up, my Marine Corps flag, because I actually took my U.S. flag down after my Marine Corps flag got ripped down, because everything's like a sheet of ice. And I just didn't, I just put like a new heavy duty steel reinforcement on the U.S., but I had the plastic one out there on the Marine Corps. So I am going to reinforce that, but I had a separate plastic one again I put up there today. So I'm out there, and she just comes out. She kind of touches her hand to her heart, and I mean, that just, it really touched me. It's like she really appreciated it. But, um, like I said, I'm not tooting my own horn. She does a lot of stuff for us too. Like if we get packages delivered, if we're not home or something, she'll text and say, "Hey, would you like me to pick your package up?" Yes, please do that. So, because I don't want the package sitting out in the wet rain or something like this. I have a very large mailbox that holds most of them, but sometimes we get something, and then you never know. I mean, especially around, like earlier, like around Christmas time, there's people out stealing packages, just to rip it open and see what they can find, like it's their Christmas present or something. But so she does a lot of stuff for us too. And she brought us a, Christmas present over, brought Karen and I a Christmas present over. So, it works both ways. And I look back on my life, there's times in my life where I've needed help from people. And I had friends, family, even strangers reach out to me during, you know, desperate times, what seemed like desperate times to me at the time. Or in my earlier days, maybe somebody gave me some money, helped me out, I ran out of gas, whatever, somebody filled up a tank of gas, and I'm like, oh, how do I pay you back? And they're like, just pay it forward. And, it's actually a pretty cool concept, and I've used this. And I know even, so I do that, like whenever we help somebody out, like Karen just help the family out, they ran into some financial situation, saw a post on Facebook. She goes out and, help that family out with some groceries, things like that. They had kids at the home. And again, we're not tooting our own horns here, but, we do what we can. To me, it's just being human to help other humans out when they're in need. And I know it's a lot of times we judge people, things like that. I mean, it's just, I got to the point where there's no judgments. You help somebody out, whatever they do with that help, that's on them after that. But like I said, I've had people help me out and they said, pay it forward. So I do it. And then I do the same thing. When I help somebody out, I don't expect anything back in return. I just tell them the same thing, like pay it forward. Or, there's even been times like when I was in the military and, you know, somebody sees you in uniform and, you're out at lunch and all of a sudden some anonymous stranger picks up the tab for the whole table. And I'm like, you're looking around and it's like nobody's taking credit for it. And that is like really cool, just to know that somebody says, hey, we appreciate your service, things like that. And I think people just genuinely want to be appreciated. You never know what somebody's going through in life. People all have their struggles, and sometimes just doing that one little act of kindness for somebody can really just uplift them and change their life. So try to do that all the time. I even know Ray Higdon, I follow him, and he talks about a Wealth Wednesday. And what he does, he will like give money away like every Wednesday. Like maybe he goes out to a restaurant or something, and again he waits till the last minute. He drops, maybe he throws 100. He's got more money, but he throws $100 bill down on the table. Maybe you throw a $20 tip or something to somebody above and beyond the normal amount. And you do it like where somebody doesn't know you, you're not expecting any favors in return, anything. Maybe you're in another city somewhere and you do it. It's a random act of kindness, and just like tip somebody, and you never know what's going on in their life. Maybe it's like, they really needed that, and it just like, restored their faith in humanity or whatever. So I know we talk about business a lot, and but there's more to it than that. And again, in business, we're always here to help everybody on our team, even some people on other teams. I don't care what team you're on. If you're with CTFO, reach out to us. We will help you any way we can. And then, like I said, the big thing though is just doing things outside of that. Like the more money you get blessed with, the more you can help people. And that's kind of the way I look at it. Dave Ramsey talked about this too. He said, like, if you just hang on to all your money, he said it's like a pond, like a stagnant pond, and it turns into like a cesspool and it stinks. He said, but if the money flows, you got like if you had a river flowing into that pond and a river flowing out, he's like, that pond stays fresh. Or, that river always stays fresh because you got money flowing in and you got money flowing out. So there's a lot of things about wealth, and I know a lot of people are into tithing and things like that. Maybe you look at the biblical 10%, maybe you look at the standard 2%. To me, it doesn't really matter. If you're given money, like a lot of times I may go to a church and I don't put my name on the envelope, whatever. I just throw some money in, some cash. Um, Whatever it is, if you see people in need, help them out, and it comes back to help, to help you too, and it helps society. It makes the world a better place. Oh, I know the final thing I'm going to end on here. It was I believe it was Fyodor Dostoevsky, or maybe it was Leo Tolstoy, but he had a quote that said, "Everybody wants to change the world, but no one thinks about changing himself." But then Mahatma Gandhi came out and he said, be the change that you want to be in, that you want to see in the world. So be the change that you want to see in the world. And that's really what it's all about. I can't go out and change the world. Sometimes we watch all this news on TV, it's always so negative and it has people battling against each other. There's Nadezhda. She wanted to get in the video here. She loves to be on video. Whenever I'm talking, she's got to be around me. A good little Siamese kitty. So be the change that you want to see in the world. That's all I got for today. Thanks.